Hi everybody and welcome to this video. Thank you so much for jumping in. My name is Jeanette Andrada and I help small business owners and entrepreneurs take control of their finances and accounting operations with confidence. And I'm also a QuickBooks Pro advisor. So today I wanted to go over a few tips and tricks on how to use the bank feeds feature in QuickBooks so that it could make your bookkeeping processes as easy and stress-free as possible. So right now, I wanted to start by sharing my screen with you. Going ahead and do that now. I'm currently in a sample company that is created by QuickBooks. If you Google QuickBooks test drive, it'll bring you into this sample company, which is a really cool place for you to come in and practice. If you're not sure how something's going to work, you could come in here and just without touching your live data and see how things are going to work. So in a previous video, I showed up how to import your receipts. So today what I wanted to do is go over another part of the banking feature, which is going to be the bank feeds. Now, the bank feeds are really convenient because essentially what you could do is add your bank account or your credit card account, and QuickBooks will automatically import all your transactions for you. So when you set up your account, all you have to do is come to this banking page, go to banking, and it brings me back here. I have to scroll up a little bit. But you would go to add account, and there are a lot of banks. Honestly, there hasn't been many banks that I've seen that don't integrate with QuickBooks. So you would start by typing in whatever bank account that you use, and when you find it, you are able to use your login credentials for your bank account to sign right in to your bank account through QuickBooks. So it takes a minute, but once you link them up, you're going to see all your transactions start posting here. And I recommend going through these transactions at least once a week, no later than once a month, and just checking everything to see where it goes. So let's go ahead and start looking at what's for review for this company. So you're going to see that there are going to be different actions that you could take here. So when a transaction comes in, you are able to either add it, match it, or transfer it. So we'll go over what those three different items mean. So let's say you've already entered some transactions into your accounting system. Well, QuickBooks is going to find a potential match for that transaction. So let's say here on 3/26/20, there was a deposit made to the bank account for $868.15. Now you had previously, or the QuickBooks, the system created a deposit for that amount for that date, and so we could tell QuickBooks those are the same transactions, and you just match it. And so now it's matched and it comes out of your for review tab. So so whenever there is a transaction that's matching, I would just be very careful to click in here. Don't just automatically click match, because it is a software. It does, sometimes it'll match up if you have the same two transactions with the same amount, which is very common. It might be matching it up to the incorrect transaction, and you might have different options. So right here, for example, there looks like there was a check that was cut on 3/24 for $19.99 for Squeaky Clean Car Wash, and then there was a cash purchase on 3/17. Based on the dates of 3/24 and the date of the transaction itself was 3/24, I would be inclined to believe that this one that's selected is the one that's matching. So I would be careful with that to see. Oops, sorry. I would be careful with that to see which one is the correct one. Here's another one as well. It looks like there was an expense for $75 that was paid to Pam, and then there was a bill payment paid to Books by Bessie. So we want to make sure that it's selected to Pam. It's clearly the description is for Pam, not for Books. Books by Bessie, but if it were, you could simply click on the correct one and then hit match. So we could go ahead, this is a perfect one to match. We're going to match it to Pam. Alrighty, so you could just go through all of them as they come in and just match them up to the correct transaction. Now, let's say you haven't added an item into QuickBooks, whether it be money that came in or money that went out. So if we see here, there's a rental, and the option automatically is to add. Now, if you click on the transaction, you could try to find a match, and it's going to pull up a screen, but we're going to see here, let me move my screen over, that this transaction was for $800, and I don't see anything for $800 here. So I'm inclined to believe that it's not in the accounting system yet. So in order for us, let me go to, okay, so in order for us to enter this transaction, in order for us to enter this transaction, if there's no match that could be found, then we could start by typing in the vendor. Now, if you saw, there's a drop-down list, and there wasn't a rental. So we could quickly add that vendor in here by clicking Add Vendor. You're gonna come up with this page, and we're gonna create a vendor. You have an option of creating a customer or an employee. So we want to just keep it as a rental, save it. So it's going to save that. And now we want to categorize the expense. So what type of expense was this? And let's say this was supplies that you paid for. So instead of in categorized expense, we want to change it to supplies. And we're going to hit add. And so now that transaction has been added to QuickBooks. Since I worked on a rental, and the previous one I put supplies, QuickBooks will update it, and it might be all supplies, it might not be. So you would just change the name, the transaction. So let's say this one was for stationery and printing instead of supplies. So you would just change that. The vendor's already matched up. I would hit add, and there you go. It's in QuickBooks now. Alrighty, and so those are two types of actions that you could take. So we've gone ahead and matched a transaction. So when a transaction is posted into your bank account and you already have it in QuickBooks, it's going to pop up. It's going to find a match. Again, make sure that you are looking at the different transactions that it's matching it up to. If there's multiple, and make sure it's selected on the correct one. So you just hit match, and then the other one is add if it's not already in QuickBooks, but it was in your bank account, whether you receive money or you okay, so whether you receive money or you spent money and it's not something that's recorded in QuickBooks, then you need to go ahead and add. Now the third the third action that you could take is a transfer. Now a transfer, I feel like most people get confused about what a transfer is. And a transfer, let's think about when you have a credit card and a bank statement, or you have multiple accounts. You're transferring from your checking account to your savings account, or you're using your savings account to pay off your MasterCard. It's not necessarily an expense, and the way that we had it here, where we could categorize it as an expense, there's not really a category, but it's a transfer because you're using money from one of your accounts to cover expenses, such as a credit card bill, or even if you're just moving money from your checking account to your savings account, it's just moving from one of your asset accounts to another of your asset accounts. So that would be a transfer. So, and let's say we paid the credit card and it came up in here. Well, we wouldn't add it as an expense or, anything around here. We could record a transfer, and it's going to tell you, where do you want to transfer this money to? So let's go ahead and do it. Okay. Yeah, so you want to record a transfer. Let's say we made a $55 payment to our credit card. And so right now, if you see, we're in our checking account. That's what we're reviewing. So think about it as you moving money from your bank account to a different account, and you want to select, well, which account? So let's say we did pay off $55 off of the MasterCard, and you would just record that transfer. And there you go. That's the difference between those three different actions. And again, this feature is really useful, and it really helps automate the accounting process, the bookkeeping process, because it doesn't require you to do a lot of data entry. It definitely helps with data entry errors, like transposing numbers and things like that, but it's not 100% full fail-proof. So you want to make sure that you're selecting the correct action, whether it be adding a transaction, you're matching it to an existing transaction, or you're transferring it from one account to another. And then that way you are making sure that everything's as accurate as possible. Guys, well, that is it. It's a short little video. I hope you found it useful. Again, my name is Jeanette Andrada, and I am a QuickBooks Pro Advisor. I'm a certified QuickBooks Pro Advisor, and I'm happy to answer any of your QuickBooks questions, or if you're having any issues with setting up your QuickBooks, feel free to reach out to me. My company name is Lotus FMS, and it stands for Financial Management Services. All right, until next time.